Hey. All right, we finally finished Xenosaga 2, and before we get on to episode 3, we're going to be covering Xenosaga A Missing Year. This is canon, and it tells us everything that happened within the year between Xenosaga 2 and 3. Xenosaga 2 takes place immediately after 1, and then 3 takes place a year after 2. So all of this is explaining everything that happened within that year, and there is an official fan translation, official English, not official, but an English fan translation that, we can go through and read. And there's going to be some voiced sections, but most of it is just going to be reading. There is this playlist on YouTube of it in English, so shout outs to Evil Chronos for uploading this. And without wasting any more time, let's actually get into this and learn what happens. I will be reading the non-voiced sections, so quite a bit of this is just going to be plain text. Approximately 1 year after our farewell at the spaceport. Since then, I've begun working with an organization called Scientia. We are currently attempting to break into one of Vector's most important control domains, which is at the heart of the UN. Something happened which prompted me to quit my job at Vector and collaborate with Scientia. The phenomenon was later called the Gnosis terrorism, though it involved me and many people who were close to me. Okay, this is going too fast. I need to slow it down just a little bit. 480 quality, the highest. Okay, playback speed, slow it down just a tiny bit. Okay, run it back. That's easier. Okay, everyone, all right. Though it involved me and many people who were close to me, everyone, whether involved or not, was left with a feeling of uneasiness and suspicion. I couldn't shake my own suspicion, and the tensions in my mind kept mounting, so without even saying goodbye to Cosmos, I decided to leave Vector. I just have to see with my own eyes once more the sealed fragment of Xenosaga 2 to 3, A Missing Year, sealed fragments of truth in the UN. Oh, let's go. Bro, that logo always looks so clean with the different colored, everything is different color, the 2 and the 3 with the respective colors between the 2 and 3, and then the yellow condition with the black and white X. It's also so clean. Here's Shion. After the space-time anomaly in Miltian space caused by albedo had closed up, I returned to my usual duties as development chief at Vector. Before I had traveled to 2nd Miltia, a new 3rd Division Annex Office head position had been established, and my appointment to it added a stable, although brief, routine to my life. I spent every day filling mountains of paperwork which chronicled the events from attack on the Muglinde to the appearance of Abel's arc over Miltian space. During this time, the Gnosis threat intensified and expanded its range, bringing about heavy damage to some of the planets in the Federation. I also think in this time I began to feel as if Gnosis threat was someone else's duty. Then, 6 months later, I learned that my brother Jin, who I had farewell to at the spaceport, had been commissioned by the Contact Committee to investigate the Gnosis attack incident. Terminology, okay. Subcommittee's report on the Gnosis incident. From the Contact Subcommittee's inquiry about Gnosis attack incidents. At the present time, there has been no correlation discovered in the numerous attacks. However, several mysterious factors regarding the Gnosis activity have been discovered. The attacks are focused on highly populated urban centers, giving rise to the possibility that the Gnosis are targeting billions. There is a constant pattern in the attacks which lead us to believe that the Gnosis focus is not simply destruction. Within a set time following the attacks, all of the Gnosis completely disappeared. In consideration of these facts, we have determined that the Gnosis are acting as if they are being controlled by someone. In addition, at the latest attack incident, we confirmed the presence of a mysterious boy who is presumably acting together with the Gnosis, the 100 Sage Realien that he nosified. The boy's words led us to believe that the character called Grimoire may be deeply connected to this case. Though the hypothesis seems far-fetched, if we can confirm the existence of the leader who commanded the Gnosis, it will give us the breakthrough that we need. So, according to all this, there were Gnosis attacks after Abel's Ark swallowed up the Zohar, and then all those Gnosis attacks were known as the Gnosis terrorism, and the Gnosis attacks are targeted, so it seems like someone is controlling them. So they allege that Grimoire has something to do with it, and he's controlling Gnosis. Like I'm not telling y'all this. I'm like, this is what I'm figuring out because I haven't seen anything about missing years. So I'm going into this blind, just like some of you are. So Grimoire's little girl. Then the one called Grimoire's little girl, a Realien girl we have been sheltering. We have found parts that resemble a special type of Realien built by the Utic organization 14 years ago. However, since no records about this type remain from then, we are unsure if she is the same kind of Realien. Even within the girl's memory banks, nearly all of the records have been deleted. Of the fragments of her memory that remain, we can find no leads to any important information on the Gnosis. We originally assumed that the mission conflict 14 years ago was the cause of memory loss. However, there is evidence that the records have been artificially modified, and we think this is directly connected to the girl's recent activity. The Gnosis attack incidents, at first everyone thought they were merely an extension of the frequent and ongoing Gnosis phenomenon event. In my case, if I hadn't known that my brother was involved in the incident, I might have never found the truth either. But Yuli was quick to realize how strange the incidents were. She continued the investigation of the incidents with Jin and others and caught hold of a very important clue. The girl she had been sheltering was an eyewitness to one of the incidents. An investigation on the girl was initiated by the subcommittee. In the end, they were able to establish that she was a special type of Realien who had been built for an unknown purpose. The subcommittee's report was sent to Vector, and the 3rd Division began to give support to the investigation of the Realiens as an anti-Gnosis battle advisor. I also participated in the investigation, but when I saw the 3rd Division's finding on the girl they had submitted as reference data, I was left speechless. The girl had come from the same series of Realiens that Yoki Mizrahi had produced 14 years ago. Furthermore, no records of her being manufactured existed. There was no mistaking that this girl was deeply connected to these incidents. I think my realization of that prompted my heart's denial that the girl existed. I was afraid that a connection to her would destroy the semblance of stability that I had gained. However, when I realized an urgent communication from the subcommittee, those hesitations turned to anxieties. The incidents had escalated into a state of emergency. So confused, what's happening? So what's his name? Grimoire's little girl, she's 100 series Realien, and she is linked to the Gnosis attacks somehow. She was created by Yoki Mizrahi 14 years ago. So, I mean, she has some connection to Momo. So does that mean Momo has a connection to the attacks? I don't know. But it said she was supposed to be like an advisor, a Gnosis attack advisor.
Cosmos? 部屋の外に待機してください。これよりグノーシスを操作します。どうしたの？大丈夫？その人、私を殺しに来た。どういうこと？
わざわざ会いに来てくれるとは恐れ入るわ。グリモアの少女。いい反応ね。
彼女に手出しは渡せないわよ。
そう。では、こちらも本気で行くわ。
やだ。
シオン、大丈夫ですか、シオン。
兄さん、あの子は。
残念だけれど、連れ去られたわ。
諦めるのはまだ早いでしょう。
There was a Gnosis attack on the subcommittee's lab. Because of this, we became convinced that the sheltered girl had the key to unlock the mysterious mysteries of these incidents. I received a hurried request from subcommittee to take Cosmos and rescue the survivors. Together with an army of eggs, we successfully infiltrated the lab and rescued Yuli, the girl, and my brother, all of whom were unharmed. However, we were trying to escape from the facility. A mysterious agent named Doctu appeared. She was affiliated with the anti-UMN organization known as Antia. To my surprise, Doctus managed to damage Cosmos and kidnap the girl right before our very eyes. To be continued. Okay, we're ready. Alright, and it just auto plays. Next one. Oh. Wanted to like it. I know. Okay. After destroying Cosmos, Doctor snatched a little girl away. My brother, by his own account, also withstood her attack in the scene of what has happened. Okay. Slow it back down. This is too fast. Doctor snatched a little girl away. My brother, on his own account, also withstood her attacks. I'm sorry, this is so unprofessional and is lagging. Also withstood her attack at the scene of the Gnosis incident. But why did she pursue the little girl so viciously? Doctors called her Grimoire Verum. In that fact, it was obvious that doctors possessed some kind of information about her past. Desperately tried to find a connection between the recent incident and the girl by studying you. Or this time I sensed that my own unease. Part 2 of Missing Gear. Unofficial fan translation as an affiliation with Bandai. Please support them by purchasing Xenosaga. Yes, you should go definitely purchase Xenosaga. Xenosaga Chronicle. Although the girl saved, about the girl saved it. It was Grimoire's little girl who was saved, but her body composition bore a resemblance with a special type of realien that was manufactured by the Utic organization 14 years ago. However, because the records from that time period pertaining to the type of realien no longer exist, it was impossible to determine whether she was the same type or not. Nearly all of the data in her memory banks had been deleted as well. Due to the fragmented nature of the remaining memories, it was unable to extract any important information about the incident. We originally assumed that the Notion conflict 14 years ago might have been cause of the memory loss. However, there is evidence that the records have been artificially modified, and we thought this was directly connected to the girl's recent activity. About Lemagetton. Lemagetton, the Gnosis summoning program manufactured by Grimoire Verum. By sending out a special wavelength, this program makes it possible to interfere with the behavior of Gnosis. Several thousand years ago, it was used by researchers to observe the relationship between the Zohar and the Gnosis. However, the experiment failed, using the space-time anomaly responsible for the disappearance of Lost Jerusalem. Okay, yeah, so we're getting a whole lot of lore here. So, Lemagetton is some type of special program that Grimoire used. He used that program in order to basically make the Gnosis appear. How was he even aware of Gnosis? So did they come through because he did that, or were they already there and he was able to use Lemagetton to control? Well, it says, by sending out a special wavelength, this program makes it possible to interfere with the behavior of the Gnosis. So they were already there, but then he used this to kind of control them. And however, the experiment failed, causing the space-time anomaly responsible for the disappearance of Lost Jerusalem. So they used Lemagetton to kind of, study the Zohar and Gnosis in some type of experiment, but it failed. And that's what caused Lost Jerusalem to become, lost. Oh, the lore!
レメゲトンの代償。
ある種のプログラムの断片よ。ただ、これにはグノーシスへ干渉し、出現を促す効果があるの。
Okay. Lemagetton itself was recovered by Vector when they escaped Lost Jerusalem, and it has been safeguarded by them since. But when Project Zohar was invoked, it was handed over to the Mizrahi Cerebral Sciences. The program was restored by Professor Yoki Mizrahi, who used it as the basis for the Song of Nephilim device. Oh, that's why the Song of Nephilim can be called Gnosis, because Lemagetton was developed Song of Nephilim. According to Yuli Mizrahi, the program was at one time restored and implemented into the synthetic brain of a special type of Realian test subject. So that's the little girl. Whereupon research was conducted on the management of Lemagetton and the regulation of its waves. However, no research records remain, so we could not confirm this data. So that's why that Realian girl is special and linked to these Gnosis attacks, because she basically has Lemagetton installed into her brain, and so wherever she goes, it sends out that wavelength, and all the Gnosis flock to her. Oh, that's why the Gnosis attacks are happening, or that's why they're so concentrated. There's no information on Google.
ロストエルサレム時代に開発されたものよ。ただ、14年前の紛争により、いくつかの断片となって UMN に消えてしまった。開発者はグリモア・ベルム。
グリモア？
そんなことありえないわ。数千年を生きる人間など存在しないわ。
Full name Grimoire Verum, Chief Technician of Vector's Zohar Research Project, and the programmer that manufactured the Gnosis summoning program Lemagetton. All other personal data is unknown, as it is thought to have been lost when Lost Jerusalem disappeared. It is assumed that he died at that time. By using his own daughter as a test subject of Lemagetton, he was able to complete the Gnosis summoning program. However, an incident during the experiment caused the Zohar to go out of control. Grimoire is considered to be responsible for the space-time anomaly, which in turn was responsible for the disappearance of Lost Jerusalem. So, why was he doing this anyway? Why did he want to summon the Gnosis? Like, for what? He could have, like, used them as an army. Go Zohar? I don't understand. Like, why did he, create the Gnosis summoning program? Reason. Who is that though? That's Shion? Like when she's not working for Vector anymore? There was the character called Grimoire who was connected with the recent Gnosis attacks. There was the person named Grimoire who constructed the Lemagetton program, which was restored by Yoki Mizahi 14 years ago. There was the reality known as Grimoire's little girl. Despite the vagueness of each of these sources, we began to link all three pieces into one. Yuli and my brother had taken up the charge of rescuing the girl. Yuli, in particular, desperately tried to save her. Perhaps the Rialan girl simply reminds her of Torna. I, however, was still uncertain as to whether I should get involved in the girl's rescue or due to the report that Jin filed on the girl after the attack incident. In the report, I saw a very familiar name. What's the name? What's the name?
グリモアの少女か。あなたは一体。
違う。私はネピリム。
Whoa, wait. Nephilim? Hold on. So Nephilim is Grimoire's daughter? Or his little girl? I'm assuming daughter. So the Nephilim we've been seeing throughout Saga 1 and 2 is Grimoire's little girl? That's Nephilim? Oh! So Nephilim has Lemagetton in her head. So how did she become like a ghost or whatever like she is now? Oh, I'm so like invested into this. At the scene of the attack, the girl called Grimoire's little girl was saved. Although there was no obvious external wounds, she seemed to have lost her memory and didn't remember anything other than her own name. Although it was thought to be temporary due to the shock of the incident, a professional diagnosis was also deemed necessary. Besides, there were a few strange points concerning this girl. The girl was being pursued by several people, and each calling her Grimoire's little girl. She, however, denied that name, introducing herself as Nephilim and seeking help from the person she calls Grimoire. She had major differences from the characteristics of the Nephilim that I had previously come to know, and it was difficult to imagine that she was the same person. So that is the same Nephilim, and they're just different now, because, I mean, at least the designs are vastly different. This Nephilim has blonde hair, but the Nephilim we see in the games has brown hair. She's supposed to resemble Ellie from Xenogears. So, what's happening? In addition, it was unknown what kind of relationship existed between her and the person called Grimoire, who was thought to be connected to the attack incident.
彼女のデータから情報を得ることはできなかったのですか？
残念なことに、彼女の記憶、つまり過去のデータだけど、すべて人為的に破棄されているのよ。
記憶がない。では、自分をネピリムと名乗ったの。
その情報は比較的新しいものよ。誰か第三者の手によってインプットされたものなのは間違いないわ。
Nephilim, the illusory girl who often appeared before me, and now the kidnapped girl calling herself Nephilim. What kind of connection was there between the Nephilim I knew and this girl? The girl had a connection with Nephilim in the Melchian conflict of 14 years ago. She must surely have had a connection to me as well. There was the agent called Ductus who pursued the girl. She might have also had information on the girl. Fierce agent. Female agent who attacked Grimoire's little girl. But because of the way she handled her body and equipment, it could be surmised that she had received special training. Still, the reason why she punched the life out of the girl was unknown. Also, we didn't know whether or not she acted on her own or as part of an organization. The fact that she called the girl Grimoire's little girl, it was guessed that there is a connection between the attacks and the character named Grimoire. After I read about his report, Jin told me about his encounter.
怖がらないで。危害を加えるつもりはありません。
いや、来ないで。助けて。グリモ
あなたもグリモーの
その少女、こちらに引き渡して。
いきなり発砲とは穏やかじゃないな。
次は外さないの。
気の強い人だ。この子の保護者という感じではなさそうですね。
メディオ・トゥーティッシム・スイービス。グリモアの少女、あなたの手に余る代物よ。
なるほど。命を狙われるには十分すぎる理由だ。
そのひょうひょうとした態度、鼻につくわね。いいわ。今日のところは引いてあげる。Vive memor mortis。
大丈夫。もう安全です。
By orders from Vector, the damaged Cosmos was to immediately return to headquarters in order to have her frame upgraded to version 3. This is where we see version 3. Though I was uneasy with Cosmos' absence, it was nothing compared to the uneasiness I had regarding the girl's existence. I made the decision to help Jin, the girl. Meanwhile, Yuli used wavelengths emitted by the girl as a tracking device. He was successful in calculating the girl's location by causing a resonance with the fragments of Lemagetton.
シオン、小委員会に座標を報告し、支援の要請を。中に潜入し、少女を取り返します。
Having pinpointed the battleship that was thought to hold the girl captive, Jin and I hastily rushed inside before the enemy could notice us. However, we quickly came to realize that our actions had been careless.
ここは資料室のようですね。なるほど。この艦の所有者とは趣味が合いそうだ。ただ、不意打ちというのはあまり感心しませんがね。 少女を返してもらいましょうか。
それは無理な相談ね。
ようこそ。我々はスキエンティア。名前ぐらい聞いたことがあるだろう？スキエンティア。反 UMN を歌うレジスタンスですね。少女をどうするつもりです？彼女はレメゲドンと深い関わりがある。プログラムに関わったぐらいで彼女を殺す理由にはならないでしょう。
You know, they could have, with Xenosaga 3, they could have just made, Xenosaga 3 about, you know, this whole missing gear, and then Xenosaga 4 would be the Xenosaga 3 we know now. But I don't know, maybe that would have fucked up what they're trying to do. Information on Skyentia. The anti-UMN organization formed by the unification of anti-government resistances spread all over the Federation, founded by Melise or TC. 60. With several million members, it's currently the largest resistance organization in the Federation. Members are attempting to bring to light the possible relationship between UMN use and the Gnosis. Skillfully using a distinct network, they carry out guerrilla-type acts against the Federation. Currently, information on the Maiden of Grimoire shows a type of unique Realian that differs from current Realians. Pupils, which are the most important external characteristics of Realians, were created in a non-conventional manner. And remark that her traits are similar to the type of Realian created by Professor Mizrahi during his research for the organization. Her body was used by the same professor for Lemagetton's reconstruction in Utek's Labyrinthos. But during the Militian conflict, the data concerning this research, as well as those of the donor, are lost and the details remain. Wait, her body was used by Lemagetton? After the conflict, an official publication called for the destruction of all Realians used in his experiments. However, certain information no childlike Realian. Is Momo one of them? Intia, Weidenstein organization that denounced the UMN as being. And Will, why is it so obsessed over this girl? As anticipated, a connection with the Military conflict 14 years ago. It was discovered that the Realian was made by Professor Mizrahi and got its hands on the information concerning the experiment that Realians' bodies during conflict. Furthermore, it's the Lemagetton program that was used for this experiment. Realians made by Professor Joachim. Now I remember, in past I had developed relationships with 3 Realians, Febronius, Cecily, and Kath. Oh, were those like the missing Realian children? Would it be possible that the Maiden of Grimoire was in the same place as them and that she was used for the UTEC organization's experiments? Yet until the color of her pupils changed, tried to hide something. But what?
Lemagetton はただのプログラムじゃない。
Information on a fragment. someone who has been contaminated. My God. Someone who has been contaminated by Lemagetton by having a fragment implemented in their body is called Brandi. Currently, only a boy from the Rosen district fragment retainer. Also, there are strong chances that the maiden
脳内に取り込んだ場合、その個体は汚染され、グノーシス化してしまう。
Though they get turned into Gnosis
しか
from
も、
that?
個人の意識がそのまま保持される形でね。
どういう
意識がそのまま保持される形でね。
On its own, the fragment is useless. Placed in the brain, the program contaminates its host by
どういうこと？
まさか、人の意識を持ったままグノーシス化すると。我々は
What changes in comparison with classic nullification is that to maintain individual vital functions, individual conscience is maintained as is. People in this situation are called fragment retainers. People in this case become capable of controlling waves and it allows them to direct the as they desired. So those Gnosis attacks weren't like actual full-on Gnosis, those were fragment retainers being controlled by Lemagetton? Or are they doing that on their own? What?
グランディと呼んでる。少女が汚染されている。だがなぜ今頃になって。あなたの言うことが正しいのならば、汚染されたのは14年前のこと。なぜ今になって姿を現したと。
ベクターよ。
ベクター。
Report on suspicious points about the human. 41% of the Gnosis responsibility for damages reports by witnesses from the UN. The majority of the Gnosis apparitions in the real number domain happen through a dive in the UN. This is a known fact.
おかしな話よね。レメゲトンはもともとベクターが管理していたもの。弱き目見ずらしの研究費用の一部はベクターから出資されていた事実もある。グリモアが潜伏している UMN だってベクターによって作られ潜伏している UMN
Fact remains that no true inquiry to the Gnosis The fact remains that no true inquiry into Gnosis in the UMN exists. Currently, although the UMN's control and administration are under the jurisdiction of the Galaxy Federation, this arrangement was entrusted to Vector. Vector is also on the initiative of dealing with damage caused by the Gnosis. Although reports on the handling of the damages are sent to the Galaxy Federation, everything is done in absolute secrecy and one formal report is published.
ベクターによって作られ現在もメンテナンスが行われているのよ。ベクターが今回の事件のことを知らないわけがない。
しかし、それはただの推測。
But first of all, what is the UMN? No documents remain about the development of the UMN other than recording on the basis of maintenance, recordings on the installation, transfer columns in the galaxy. Could it be possible that no documents remain other than a network installed during the Federation?
もちろん推測よ。ベクターの真意はわからないし証拠もない。でもね、あの企業は UMN のその危険性を承知し
According to these supposed facts, we can only suppose that Vector, although conscious of these dangers, could knowingly hide very important information to Gnosis and the UN. In response to that, Vector claims that there are no implications, depth, patience
していながら公表もせず隠蔽し、何か別の目的に利用しようとしてるのよ。
This is when Shion learns about Vector kind of being responsible for the attacks, or at least having something to do with it. Vector has a link to the current incidents. I didn't want to believe that story. Certainly, Vector is responsible for the layout of the UN. However, to say from there that it is linked to this affair is a big step. But there are this girl and Lemagetton, also actions of the man named Grimoire in the UMN. There's no reason why Vector shouldn't be up to date with this info. Without doubt, it possesses numerous mysteries. I, as a representative of Cosmos, never had information back to me. One begins to feel like someone acting in the shadows. It's Wilhelm! It's gotta be. Although I decided not to get attached to Doctor's words, uneasiness began to grow.
我々はこれからグリモアの正体を暴く。うまくいけば、ベクターが関与している証拠を手に入れることができるだろう。まあ、ゆっくりと見物していってくれ。シオン、さっきの話ですが。
でも、まだベクターが絡んでるって決まったわけじゃないし、私のできることをやるだけよ。
そうですか。
グリモアの少女、疑似脳への UMN バイパスを形成。
レメゲトンの準備は
UMN へ強制干渉を開始。バイパスの接続を確認。
さて、撒いた餌に食いついてくるのはセントマリアの人魚かジェニー・ハニバーか。どっちにしてもまともではないのは確かだがね。
グリモアを名乗る男、本当に出てくると思う？
さて、どうかな。だが奴には手段を選んでいる余裕などないはずだ。必ず食いついてくるよ。
シナプスの数値安定。グリモアの少女、強制逮捕を開始。グリモアの少女の脳波周波数、正常値を維持。モニターによるトレースを開始。
バイパスへの外部データの転送を確認。
システムオールフリー。カウント入ります。5、4、3、2、1。
Antio's analysis of the girl began. The goal was to get its hands on the clues about the man called Grimoire who's pulling the string. So he's still alive? The girl seemed less afraid of the pain of the forced analysis she let on, but something else was even more peculiar. When she became aware of my brother's presence, I had the impression that the expression on her face changed slightly. One could have said that she had known him for a long time, that his presence terrified her. Fear and astonishment. From Jin? Oh, because he was there. Yes, it is certain that she was frightened by the appearance of my brother, who would soon awaken something that had slept in.
どうした？
まずい、興奮状態を抑えないと。
何事だ。各自へ報告を。主電源および第一種第二種電源より全て正常に作動しています。出庫開始を発生。グリモアの少女。
ごめんなさい。私、断酒が欲しいの。それがないと、思い出がもらえないの。
何事？何様のつもり？あなたには最初から思い出などないのよ。
そんなことない。忘れているだけ。断酒があれば返してもらえるの。
いいように騙されてるのがわからないの。
違う。そんなの嘘。
やめなさい。その子をそれ以上挑発してはいけない。
今行くわ。待ってて。
シオン、どうしましたシオン。シオン、返事をしてくれ。シオン、シオン。
To be continued. Alright, on to part 4. So, they're extracting or data or trying to go into her
残念だけ
brain
ど
to see what was up, and some happened to where they shouldn't have, and she started freaking out. Sure.
助かる見込みは
たとえわずかでも可能性は残
No,
って
her
い
hair.
る
Wait,
は
is
ず
that
です。
Shion?
そうね。でも最悪の状況も考えておかないと。心の準備はしておくべきよ。
何を準備するというんです。私が信じているわけではまたあれを裏切ることになる。
ごめんなさい。そうね。あなたは信じてあげるべきよ。
シオン。
Maiden of Grimoire disappeared right before our eyes following her awakening. Shion, trying to help her, fell unconscious. According to the subcommittee's report, traces of the girl have been found in the UMN. Therefore, it's possible that Shion's consciousness forcibly floated there. Oh, what? So part of Shion's consciousness is in the UMN? Or that's where she is now while she's like unconscious? Like Professor Mizrahi, we tried to retrieve it, but not having a single clue in the immensity of the UMN, this was a lost cause. Being unable to do anything else, I had nothing more to do than wait. I could do nothing but deplore my uselessness. Same as 14 years ago. What happened to Shion during the conflict? Because we keep hearing about that, but it actually happened. So yeah, what did actually happen to Shion during the conflict 14 years ago? Because in Saga 2, we keep hearing about 14 years ago, in Shion in jail. 14 years ago. But what happened to Shion? Does some happen where she watched Feb die? But what was that?
Nephilim.
ここはアルスノバ。ベクターによって封印された思い出の世界。
封印。思い出の世界。
ここは忌まわしき記憶と悲しき思いの残る場所。やがてこの場所にすべての意識が集まる。彼女もグリモアもそして少女もこの場所にいる。
Wait, these are different Nephilim.
ええ。グリモアによ
Grimoire
っ
is
て
holding Shion prisoner. So Grimoire is still alive and like inside the UMN? How's that even possible?
教えてくれ。どうすれば。
人が思いを遂げようとしたとき、必ずしも幸せになれるとは限らない。その思いが強いほど他者を不幸にする。彼はそのことに気づいていない。お願い、ジン。グリモアを止めて。
Nephilim contacted me through my consciousness. Informed, I'm sure that's supposed to say informed me that Shion and the girl were being held prisoner by Grimoire. They're in the depths of S Division, location controlled by Vector and protected by very high level security. Nephilim asked me to stop Grimoire. I don't know if something happened between them, but now that I know the place where they were held captive, I have no reason to hesitate.
Nephilim がそう言ったの？
Nephilim said that? Yes.
ベクターによって封印されたアルスノバという場所に少女と共に囚われていると。
二人を助けに行くつもり？無茶よ。ベクターの管理する中枢領域なんて政府としても簡単に手を下せる場所ではないわ。
やはり協力してはもらえませんか。
So that's like an actual physical place?
あなたも私もただでは済まないのよ。
わかっています。無理強いはしませんよ。
ジン、おそらくあの少女はもう助からないわ。それでも
申し訳ないが ES とこの断章しばらくお借りします。入ります。
It's cropping. It just left that bar over. Professor Mizrahi warned me not to interfere with Vector. Considering her position, her reaction was normal and I couldn't blame her for that. However, I couldn't allow myself to abandon them and I had to exploit all the possibilities that were presented to me. I never hesitated even for a second at the thought of going to save them. However, one thing perturbed me. The maiden of Grimoire wasn't afraid until she saw me. Her face was the same expression. What's the reality? Is that... That's not her.
状況は
前回、前々回の襲撃地と同様に市街地を中心として半径 0.8号キロの範囲に出現。特に大型のものはこの繁華街へ集中しているようです。
妙ですね。まるで何かを探しているようだ。
敵が移動を開始。こちらに気づいたようです。周辺空間の重力偏差に異常。時空間に干渉発生。数は計測不能。
ついてこられますか？
はい。
いい返事です。
I then went along with the 100 series relay towards the location where the Gnosis were concentrated. There we found a boy.
何者？
何者？教えねえよ。ああ、余計なことすんなよな。俺がグリモアに怒られちゃうんだぞ。
グリモア？
あいつが見つかんないのも全部おっさんのせいだかんな。
あいつ一体何のことだ？
そうだ、決めた。こんなのはどう？
何を？
僕を邪魔した罰だよ。
けどそんなことをすればあなたの体が。
Was he nosifying her? Thanks to the power of the fragment, the boy manipulated the Gnosis. He was probably searching for the maiden of Grimoire. He would have to face the Gnosis their way. The boy made it touch the Realian who She executed the Hilbert effect and pulled herself into our dimension. No way to save her, and given that she was completely nosified, there was nothing I could do to nothing I could do but destroy her.
怖がらないで。危害を加えるつもりはありません。
いや、来ないで。助けて、グリモア。
Cynthia talked about Grandies. During my investigation of the Gnosis, I had the opportunity to meet one who nosified my partner. Here's Realian. Oh, he's a Grandie. So they're like Realians with Fragment. Oh, Gnosis. At that time, the girl was also afraid. My partner executed the Hilbert effect on herself, which pulled her into her dimension. I had no choice but to destroy her. The girl saw it all and wasn't frightened by the secret. Oh, because she thought he was going to do the same. Likely she wanted to run away from me and didn't want me to rescue her. I must at all costs force myself to get this so I can concentrate. Needed certain equipment to infiltrate the heart of Vector and get by their security. Other than the subcommittee, I saw no other way than to visit this organization. Indeed, only Doctus and her colleagues could help. Shion was with me, really yell at me, saying I was irresponsible. But as long as I shared a common interest with Scientia, it was possible that I could work with it. Before Doctus could consider my proposition,
どういうつもり？まさか私たちを潰しに来たのかしら。
見ての通り丸腰ですよ。取引しませんか？ 私はグリモアの居場所を知っている。そしてそこへ行かなければならない理由がある。その手伝いをお願いしたいんです。すべてが終わった後で、グリモアと談笑を引き渡しましょう。
虫のいい話ね。
あなたたちにはダイブの準備を頼みたい。悪い話ではないと思います
が。ダイブ中、あなたの命は我々が握ることになるのよ。そこまで信用してくれるの？
信用するしかありません。他に打つ手がないんでね。
取引に応じなかったら？
それは困ります。その場合のことは考えていなかった。
まったく。そのひょうひょうとした態度。怒りを通り越して呆れるわね。いいわ。取引に応じてあげる。ただし、言うだけの働きはしてもらうわよ。
First of all, series of incidents in connection with the fragments were caused by man Grimoire Verum. Given that the origin of these unexplained phenomena, as well as the hiding place of the one responsible, is the practice maintenance area, there are strong chances that Grimoire Verum itself is. How has he managed to stay alive all this time? This is a mystery. For an unknown reason, possibly linked to the dismissal of Jerusalem, it seems that he has become a spiritual entity that exists within the UMN. We can assume that Vector knows this fact, hides the existence of Grimoire, and holds him in order to look on Lemagetton.
まさかアルスノバとは。これでベクターの関与がはっきりしたわけね。いい？今から UMN に直接干渉をかけ、強制的に突破口を作るわ。そこを通ってアルスノバまで移動する。
了解です。アルスノバの座標は？
そこにグリモアの少女がいるのなら、談笑が共鳴して道案内してくれるわ。当然、ベクターの特別管理領域だから全力で潰しに来るわよ。生き残れるかどうかはあなた次第ね。
ご期待に添えるよう努力しますよ。
To be. Part 5. We're almost there. We got one more part after this.
ここ私助かったの。あなたね。あなたが助けてくれたんでしょ。そう。ありがとう。あなたは大丈夫？怪我はない？
So
どう
all
し
of
て
this is inside the UMN.
私のことを助けてくれたの？私を守ろうとしてくれたから。そっか。あなた、 ネピリムっていうの？グリモアがくれたの。グリモアって、あなたのお父さん？わからない。私、何も覚えてないの。でも、グリモアは私のこと、何でも知ってるって言ってた。何でも？うん。名前も思い出も全部。でも、それをもらうためには、断書を集めないとダメなの。全部集めないと、グリモアに怒られるの。怖い。怖いよ。私にはできないよ。大丈夫。大丈夫よ。何も怖くないわ。私がそばにいてあげるわ。必ず守ってあげるから。
Shion looks so different. Alright, go part 5, let's go. Missing year. I'm actually really liking this a lot. But just imagine if this was a game. If we had a game about this. What? That'd be so dope. Just kind of like a recap of what's happening so far. We learned that the Gnosis attacks are connected to Nephilim, who is connected to Grimoire, and Grimoire used Lemagetton to, as program to create a Gnosis summoning program. And so all those targeted attacks are most likely caused by Grandies, who are Realians who have fragments of Lemagetton, which allow them to control Gnosis. So those attacks are linked back to Grimoire, who kind of responsible for. Find out that he's hiding in Domain in Arsenova, where Shion and Nephilim are being killed. So Jin, with the help of Doctus and Scientia, wants to go to Arsenova to free Shion and them and confront Grimoire. Oh, so cool.
Eh? あなたを一人にしないわ。それに、私だけじゃない。兄さんも一緒よ。兄さん？そう。神宇月っていうの。変わり者で頑固だけど、本当はね、すごく優しいのよ。だから大丈夫。絶対に助けてあげるわ。うん。ジン、うずき、
Lost consciousness while trying to comfort the girl who was in the Scientia vessel. When I awoke, I was in a strange place with her. Where was this? Who brought us here? One would say it's an old church. I have no idea. Next to me was a frightened little girl who held me tight. Reassuring, I tried easy, bracing my. Because of this, didn't remark on her change. Yes, once she heard the name Januzuki, her face changed slightly.
That
Grimoire?
あなた、何？グリモア、あの人が、
怖い？
わかんないよ。でも、きっと、いじめられる。助けて。
残念だが、それはできない。
助けてくれないの？
ネピリム、君は思い出が欲しいのだろ？
ネピリムって名前くれたよ。思い出もくれるって。
そう、僕は君に約束した。かわいい名前も温かい思い出も君のすべてをプレゼントするとね。だがそのために君はレメゲトンの断章を手に入れなければならない。そして僕のいるこの場所まで来なければならないんだ。
そんな、できない。怖いよ。
大丈夫、できるさ。さあ、おいでネピリム。
何言ってるの？ふざけないで。
Stepping through a damn pole. Where's he taking Nephilim? In! Immediately after he kidnapped her, my brother appeared. I saw his relieved face. Trying to hide my emotions, I told him everything that had happened. Suddenly, a whole host of macrophages appeared. Gnosis is so badass.
ドクトス。
情けない声出してどうしたの？そんなに私が恋しかった？ここは私が抑えるわ。早くグリモアを。
しかし。
ニシンボニスアミキティアエセノポテスト。
In an unexpected manner, Doctus appeared to protect us. Why did she do that if we're enemies? I was still confused. Jin explained. There's a section of the UN called Arsenal, controlled by Vector. That my consciousness captured by Grimoire that to come help me, he had to ally himself with Sky. Grimoire seems to have fled to the depths. Went in pursuit.
ようこそ我が聖域へ。グリモア、君たちには感謝しているんです。おかげで彼女が覚醒することができたのですからね。
私の仕事はまだ終わっていない。
この地でなおくだらぬ虚勢を張れるとは。いいでしょう。これから行われる奇跡の目撃者となってもらいましょう。
奇跡？
あなたたちはここが単なる機密情報の集積地だと思っているようですね。それは大きな勘違いだ。
ベクターによって作られたあなたのための檻、精神の牢獄だと言いたいのでしょ
う。牢獄だから勘違いなんですよ。言ったでしょう。この地は僕にとって聖地。ここに僕のすべてが存在する。
あなたは自ら望んでここにとどまっているのか。
理解してもらえるとは思っていませんよ。だからその意味を教えてあげようというのです。
Please do, cause
Fuzuki 大将。やめて、お願い。
そう。
What is he doing to Jin? What's happening? Oh. Looks... That's why she wanted the fragments. She told us that the fragments were indispensable for her to get her memories back. Memories. So, not knowing who she was, he was probably the only one who could tell her. But could she be happy if she got her memories back, knowing that she was a rebellion horn for rebellion born for experience? Experiments, goddamn.
さあおいで。これで全てを手に入れることができるんだ。
Song of Nephilim's playing. So that is the same Nephilim. This is just when she lost all her memories. So she gets all her memories back, she turns into like the Ellie lookalike.
これが私。これが私の記憶。違うの。
これは。
これネピリムの歌声。
さあ聞くがいい、この声を。我が愛しき歌声を。
ダメよ、この歌を歌わせてはダメ。
やがて歌は UMN へと広がり、全宇宙へと響き渡る。
Nephilim died. So that's the original Nephilim? His daughter. So that's his original daughter. Looks like Ellie. That's the OG Nephilim. And then he used that Realian, named her Nephilim after his daughter, used her to get all the fragments of Lemagetton to, you know, you know, bring Lemagetton together and make it whole again so he could try to correct Nephilim, like that Nephilim, his daughter who died. Kind of like a whole situation where the Realian Momo built in image of Sakura, that Realian was built in image of Nephilim. But the connections!
ネピリムをこの聖地へと呼び戻すことができる。
ネピリムがあなたの娘？これ私の記憶じゃないの？
このアルスノバは愛しき娘の記憶。君にはこの記憶のすべてを受け継いでもらう。そしてレメゲトンの使い、君に娘の魂を宿らせよ。君は希望のよりしろとなるのだ。
そんな、やめてよ。
嫌がることはない。君は望みのものを手に入れたのだよ。
違う。こんなの私の記憶じゃない。
バカな。なぜ拒絶する？やめろ！頼む！ネピリムを、娘を受け入れてくれ。なぜだ？なぜ拒む？
わからないの？彼女は他人の思い出が欲しいんじゃない。自分だけの心が欲しかったのよ。どうして気づいてあげられないの？
偽りの心に変わり、この世で最も尊い心を宿し、ネピリムとして生きていくことができるのだ。これほど幸せなことがあるか。
そんなのあなたの思い込みじゃない。
知ったふうな口を聞くな。ベクターの若造に利用され続けながら永劫の時を、娘を失った苦しみに耐え続けたのだ。
そんな。
ああ、僕の希望が消えてゆく。
Fragments that Grimoire planted in the girl united, and Lemagetton was finally complete. The awakening of Lemagetton, she began to be swept away by Gnosis. So, if she stayed in this state, she would emit the song through the UMN, which would quickly spread it and make it resonate all the universe. If this happened, our world would be completely overrun by Gnosis. Okay, so that explains the Song of Nephilim in the first two games. Whenever we heard it is when Nephilim was around. That Nephilim. And she had the complete, you know, full program of Lemagetton in her head, like in her brain. It was complete. It got all the fragments united and it was complete. So now the Song of Nephilim plays wherever she goes. And resonated through the UMN, placed out the universe. So whenever Lemagetton is played, Gnosis will swarm to that area. Oh, that's so cool. But why? It still isn't explained why he created Lemagetton. Because Lemagetton was created to like study the Zohar, relationship between the Zohar and the Gnosis. But then Grimoire used Lemagetton to create a Gnosis summoning program. If this whole time you just wanted to bring his daughter back, what do the Gnosis have anything to do with that? Or maybe he was using that to kind of draw out her consciousness from the collective unconscious, and it became a Gnosis, and then therefore other like consciousnesses in the collective unconscious started pouring out, and then came to be Gnosis, and then the Gnosis attacks that we know of. Is that what happened? Because it hasn't been explained, like why exactly he created Lemagetton. Unless I just already forgot, but oh my god, the lore in this series is immaculate. Oh my god, it's so... Oh, this series is so cool. I love Xenosaga. It's such a shame not many people... It's a shame more people don't know about this series. Why did this have to happen? She only wanted her memories. Grimoire only wanted to revive his beloved daughter. The two of them only wanted to attain their wishes and nothing more. But in reality, their wishes mutually hurt them and only brought misfortune to them. Did I press play?
Nephilim.
Nephilim.
Nephilim. Original enough.
やっと戻ってきてくれたね。待っていた。ずっと待っていたんだ。おかえり、ネフィリム。
あなたをここに縛り付けていたのはこの私への思いがあなたをごめんなさい。
To be continued. Alright, here we go. This is the penultimate part. We got one more part left, part 6, chapter 6. And that's Missing Year. And then the end of Missing Year leads straight into Saga 3. Oh, let's go! He becomes nosified? Oh shit, okay, let's goes, so Nephilim becomes a Gnosis. Or at least that Realian. So that Realian isn't actually Nephilim. Grimoire is trying to force his daughter, Nephilim, her memories into the Realian and kind of have the Realian kind of act as sort of a proxy for his daughter. So that Realian isn't actually Nephilim. Cosmos? Version 2. Did they already create version 3? Is that version 3? Because you still have like that forehead thing from version 2. Wait, is that 3? I can't tell. But yeah, I think that's version 3. She looks a whole lot different now. The black smoke produced by Lemagetton surrounded the girl's body, as she transformed into a the fragment of Lemagetton, while keeping her consciousness intact, notified her. She lost her senses and we could no longer hear her. I was unable to contain my emotions and began to lose control when Cosmos, equipped with a new exoskeleton, appeared to get us out of this. So that is version 3. He protected us from the Gnosis attack. Seizing the opportunity, Jin turned towards the Gnosis while drawing his gun.
するの？やめて、嘘でしょ？
これ以上あの子を苦しませるべきではない。
やめてよ。お願い。あの子と話がしたいの。兄さん！
行きますよ、コスモス。
行きます。
His katana cut the Gnosis in two, allowing the maiden of Grimoire to pull herself out what remained. My brother was right. She hadn't completely nosified yet and could still be saved. Oh, that's... Oh, what? Level up.
Shion, 思い出してあげて。彼女のことを。
What happened to Grimoire? Is he dead?
アルマデル？
Almadel.
これ、あなたの名前なの？
Almadel? Is that the Realian's name?
どうしてこんなところにいるの？大丈夫？
Is that Shion? This thing Shion's talking about, like nothing. Isn't glad. Oh, these are the girls. Almadels. So the Realian girl's name is Almadel.
宇月観察官。検体の意識。
Almadel's
覚醒しました。
memories?
あなた、誰？
レメゲトンの固着状態はこれ以上ミズラヒ博士を待たせるわけにいかんぞ。
今のところはうまく固定されているようです。しかし 値が安定していません。
やむをえん。フェーズ6からやり直す。
それでは検体に負担が。
構わん。これ以上の遅延、彼らへの言い訳が立たん。
やめて。何をするの？いや、怖い。
さあ、いい子だ。おとなしく言うことを聞いてくれ。
大丈夫？誰？
Shion.
いや、怖い。ねえ、この子怖がってる。かわいそう。
宇月監察官、ご息女が。
ここには入るなと言っただろう。
だって
早く出て行きなさい。脳内に余計なゴミがあるとノイズが出る。投薬の量を増やしてみるか。
But what are they doing to her?
さあ、
Are they trying to like
おとなし
extract
くして
Lemagetton
くれ
out
よ。
of her head? Like what's happening? I remembered everything. The help of the girl's memories, my memory returned. Shion lost hers too? Also, 14 years ago, I met her, and in her memories was my father, Suo Uzuki. That's why she was scared of my brother's face. He looked a bit like her father. Oh, that researcher is her dad? I don't know what kind of connection my father could have had with Vector, Yoki Mizrahi, and Grimoire. In any case, one thing was certain. I had memories in common with Almadel.
知ってる。私、この子のこと知ってる。
Shion's sister?
アルマデル、しっかりして。アルマデル。
Adele isn't that.
アルマデル。そうよ、アルマデル。あなたの本当の名前よ。アルマデル。あなた、アルマデルって名前なのね。
Are they childhood friends?
私はシオン。あなた一人ぼっちなの？怖がらないで。私がそばにいてあげる。大丈夫。今度いじめられたら私が守ってあげるね。
シオン。シオン。
Shion.
じゃあまたね。私がそばにいてあげるわ。必ず
I'm guessing they were
守
childhood
ってあ
friends.
げるから。
Or, Almadel was being worked on in the lab, and like, maybe, I mean, she's a Realian, so Suo, who is Shion's father, was trying to extract Lemagetton out of her head, And while she was recovering, Shion went in there and like started talking to her because brought Shion to work with him because so he there. And after the whole operation, she went in the room and like and is that what happened? Oh no. I don't want to know why Lemagetton was, or like why he created the Gnosis summoning part.
私よ。もう大丈夫よ。もう何も怖くないからね。だから
So stop the
歌
song.
を止めましょう。アルマデル。
Wait, how? Stop the song. How is she supposed to do that?
諦めちゃダメ。アルマ
Come
デル。
on, Almadel, you can do it. Stop the song.
怖がらないで。約束したよね。私がついてるわ。どうして止められないの？ネピリム。ダメなの。私にもそんな力はない。
That's by Lemagetton.
彼
That
女
was
は
like
すでに
a Zohar
レ
program.
メ
How
ゲ
does
トに
it
取り
connect?
込まれている。
Oh, she's a
こちら
reality,
側
so
に
it's kind of like
生
a
きる
virus.
ことはできないわ。彼女が生き続けるのはこのままレメゲトンを受け入れるしかない。でもそれを決めるのは彼女自身。そんな、どうして？止められないよ。このままだとシオンが。アルマデル、みんなシオンを助けたい。でもできないの。私には止められない。大丈夫。止められるわ。あなたがそれを望むのならもう分かっているはずよ。思い出して。思い出す。じゃあまたね。
At that instant, I was in accord with her consciousness. Memories she searched for. Only spent a few days together, but her, they were happy. Important memories. It was for those that she made her decision. Her memories.
これ私の中の温かいこれが止められる？うん。でもさっ 寂しくない？そうね。それもあなたの、そしてあなたと出会った人の消えることのない思い出となるわ。私の思い出。シオン、アルマデル。シオン、私にも思い出があったの。あなたが私にくれたのよ。アルマデル。あなた、今度、また会うことができたら、一緒に遊んでくれる？
Almadel's got some gorgeous hair.
何言ってるの？もちろんよ。いつでも遊んであげるわ。楽しみにしてる。アルマデル。あなた、何をする気なの？今度は、私がシオンを守ってあげる。
Are you supposed to like resemble
待って、アルマデル。
what's in Dylan?
そんなの嫌よ。ありがとう、シオン。やめて、アルマデル。お願いよ。やめてよ。兄さん、彼女を止めて。じゃあ、またね。
Oh, Almadel, don't go. Oh, she's gone. She's gone. Almadel.
アルマデル。嘘でしょ。なんで、どうして彼女が。
彼女はレメゲトンを拒絶したんです。我々を救うため、いや、お前との思い出を守るために。
そんなのって。もうすぐここは閉じた空間となる。グリモアとアルマデルのための誰も訪れることのない永遠の模様。
シオン、空間の崩壊が始まっています。
No.
早く脱出を。
いい。もう、疲れたの。
Oh shit. I just slapped out of her. John, I mean, John, like too much made.
あなたがこのまま諦めて、アルマデルが喜ぶと思うのですか？
だったら教えてよ。アルマデルは一体何のために生まれてきたの？あの子の幸せって一体。
Born or
それは他人が推測で語れるような問題ではない。その答えを出せるのはアルマデル自身です。
そんな理屈、聞きたいんじゃない。
だけどね、一つ確かなことがある。あなたに会うことで、彼女はあの笑顔を手に入れることができたんです。それは紛れもない事実ですよ。
兄さん。
さあ、帰りましょう、シオン。
Look at Cosmo. Nephilim. Get it, Shion. 14 years ago, Yoki Mizrahi created the Udu system. The foundation of this system rested on the Gnosis calling program Lemagetton. Almadel was born to serve as a guinea pig for his research. Grimoire planted Nephilim's memories into Almadel's brain. Then, using Lemagetton, he tried to revive Nephilim's consciousness. However, Almadel rejected these memories and sacrificed herself to stop the Song of Nephilim created by Lemagetton. She Gnosified and turned to salt. Almadel and Grimoire were lost as Arsenal was destroyed. It announced that this marked the end of the current Gnosis attacks. Officially, the one responsible, Grimoire Verum, was reported missing. The truth of these facts is seriously hidden. Other areas suffered the pressure of Vector. Yuli of the subcommittee was transferred to a Federation military establishment. I also heard that the Foundation that was in charge of the investigation was pursued for having connections to this incident. My discipline for having broke into S Division was demotion and outright removal of my position as Chief. The Cosmos Project was frozen until a new chief was named. Had there been any other measures taken by Vector, I would still consider myself lucky. Effectively, even after my demotion, I could still continue to participate in Cosmos' development, given that there are still things for First Division to do. But I lost confidence in the UMN and Vector rose inside me, and this feeling wouldn't go away. I can never forget Almadel. That's why I passed in my resignation letter. It's probably something that Alan and the others will never forgive me for, but as long as I have bitterness towards Vector, it is doubtful that I can ever return. It would no longer be possible for me to see Cosmos. No, Como! I have not thought about what would happen, but I intend to research the truth of the subject of my father and his part in the incident 14 years ago in the UMN and Vector. The Nephilim told me I must face my past. To be continued in Xenosaga Episode 3! Yeah! Okay, there it is. We finished Missing Year, and now the rest of the story continues on into Episode 3. Whoa! Okay, that was great. I actually liked that a lot. So we got some more background, like more backstory for Shion, which is great. So the thing, when she kept talking about, 14 years ago, she was there with Almadel while she was recovering in her room, and she, created a special bond with Almadel. And then that's how she's kind of connected with Nephilim a little bit, is because Grimoire tried to use Lemagetton to import Nephilim's memories into Almadel, but she refused, and Shion helped free her, get her actual memories. So, oh my god, just the overarching story of Xenosaga is just so vast and just fantastical. There's just so much lore. There's so much lore in this series. Alright? And it doesn't matter how much you think you don't know everything about this series. There's still stuff that we don't understand, because we're supposed to get 3 more games. So maybe that was gonna explain why you want to get to this first rating. Oh my god, yeah, because we never found out how Nephilim died. Oh, look at that, the Saga 3 logo. Xenosaga Episode 3. Oh, also Spike Zarathustra. Oh yes, bro, let's go. Let's actually fucking go. So there it is, Xenosaga Missing Year. That was incredible. I loved that, and yeah, I guess we'll see y'all in part 1 to Xenosaga 3. It's been a long time coming, and we're finally here. So that's really about it. So as always, thanks for watching. Have a damn good day. Stay safe, be well, and play some goddamn Xenosaga.